Hey everybody, this is Tom, and this is a recent gliding run that I did that I wanted to share with you and talk through what was going on. Here I'm flying my Parkzone Radian. It's a 2-meter powered glider. I have my custom mount for a GoPro Hero 3 up in the front, and I'm flying with my Spektrum DX8 transmitter. My goal on this day was to take the glider out as far as I could manage and then bring it down as far as I was willing, so that the glide path on the return trip would just skim the trees. I'm basically challenging myself, both in terms of distance and in terms of the kind of minimal gliding path. And normally when you're flying a 2-meter glider like this, you don't have any trouble telling how it's oriented, which you need in order to maintain control. But when I fly it out as far as I am here, it basically becomes a speck in the distance, so I can't even really see the shape of the plane when it's out as far as it is here. Right as I get to the top here, some gusts of wind make the plane start rocking, and because the plane is just a speck, I can't really tell what happened. So I cut power, and I start this slow banking turn with the primary purpose of determining how the glider is facing by watching how the little speck moves through the sky. Plus I also get some amazing footage here of Beaver Run Reservoir. But at this point I'm comfortable again. I know how the glider is oriented. So I decide that I'm going to take it a little bit further out and wander around a little bit. So keep in mind that I'm standing out here, and my goal is to go through the gap in the trees here, and without hitting the forest that ends right there. And at this point, I don't actually know how far away I am, but we can see here Google Maps tells us that I was a half mile, flying line of sight a half mile away, which is pretty crazy. But I still think the plane's a bit high if I want the glide path to skim the trees, so I decided I'm going to have one more go around, get a little bit more footage of the reservoir before I do the return trip. And this is where I decide that, alright, it's low enough, let's get back over the woods. So I start the return run. The wind is at my back, but this forest here has swallowed at least one glider, probably more, from the club that I'm in, so I'm risking it a little bit here. I do have the propeller that I can turn back on if I get in trouble, but I consider that cheating. So my hope is not to have to use the propeller. And as it happens, the wind here makes it so that I actually have room to spare. I was actually a little bit disappointed that I had so much room to spare, so I do nose down here to dive past those trees and take a fast run through this gap, which I think looks pretty cool. Not the softest landing ever, but not so bad. So that's my crazy half-mile line-of-sight reservoir run. Thanks for watching. See you next time.